What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm going to talk about this situation that happened with Terrell Owens and him being accosted by what people are referring to as a Karen. And I'm going to give my thoughts and opinions about Karen as well as Terrell and just the situation in general, and how it relates to the community, especially to Black women, or rather how it doesn't really relate. But we'll get into that later. And I meant to talk about this a lot sooner, but I've just been preoccupied, professionally as well as personally. So my free time has been more limited. And also, I try to do videos when I'm in a state of mind where I feel moved to actually do the video. I don't want to just be up here, just talking, and it just is obvious that you don't really want to do the video. What's the point of that? So with that all being said, let's get into the video. Here we go. So Karen accused Terrell Owens of driving fast in the neighborhood that they both live in, and she accused him of running a stop sign. Terrell denies the allegations, and he calls her a Karen in the process. And right then and there, when Terrell called Karen a Karen, I kind of felt like, okay, at this point now, it has been shifted to basically like a racial situation. Well, of course, it was a racial situation from the beginning, but when he said Karen, I felt like he was officially on record shifting it to a racial situation. And perhaps he should not have done that, but that's just what he felt. He felt like he was probably in a racial situation, being harassed because he is Black. And ultimately, I think that his speculation and conjecture, if that was his frame of mind and his thoughts, ultimately, I think that he probably was on the money and that he was correct. Because Karen, she retorts back saying that he is a Black man approaching a white woman. Know your place, Blackie. Know your place. She didn't say that part, but low-key, that was the sentiment behind it. And as well, I don't think she appreciated being called a Karen, and I don't think her husband appreciated it either, because Terrell was saying in the video that her husband said, don't call her a Karen. I didn't hear that in the video, but I'm guessing it may have happened before he started filming. And, Karen, she accuses Terrell of coming at her. You're coming at me, or something like that, right? And she calls the cops, thus weaponizing the police against him, against Black men. Nothing new there. Then when the police show up and they start kind of like asking about what's going on in the situation at hand, she start crying, hyping it up. Crying, saying he was speeding through the neighborhood, and she asked him to stop, right? And then a woman who I don't think ever showed up on camera, but I heard her voice. And I'm not sure of her race, but she sounds like she could be a Black woman. For some reason, the cadence of her voice is giving me Black woman vibes, right? But the woman, possibly the Black woman, she vouches for Terrell Owens, saying that he wasn't speeding and that she was sitting in her garage and she didn't see him speeding. And I'll say that, these white women, they do feel very comfortable, doing this type of stuff to Black men. But again, that's nothing new either. And also, like, who's really checking Karen in the video like that outside of Terrell? Because the cops, I don't know, like, they may have been talking to her to the side where Terrell couldn't hear her, maybe. But I'm like, you know, and she did call the cops, but still, like, who's checking Karen on this behavior, though? Ultimately, nobody. And I'll say that he was smart to record the encounter. However, I get the feeling that he does live in a majority white neighborhood for some reason. I don't know exactly why, outside of, the Karen acting the way that she's acting in this video. That whole, feeling very comfortable, right? Because she probably is among her people. And basically, she knows that if something goes down, she got backup, right? She got some backup. And for Terrell to live in a majority white neighborhood as a black man, a blackety black man especially, I'm not sure if that is a smart idea. I don't think that's smart. Yeah, he's a celebrity, so things may be a little different, but at the end of the day, as he said it in the video or somewhere, he's still a black man in America, right? And this is just a normal day, for black men in America. They love to go to that, oh, I've been a black man in America. I've been oppressed at the highest order. Everybody's against me. All my life I had to fight. 400 years of victim. Right? And, I bring that up because a lot of times I feel like some of these black men who are celebrities oftentimes kind of distance themselves from the community, the black community, when convenient, but then come back when it's convenient. For example, like in the situation here, like, oh, I'm black, and now he's trying to trigger black people's conscience by saying that basically, he is a victim. In so many words, he didn't say it straight up, but basically he's a victim of racism or racial profiling or something, some sort of a victimization because of his race. Yeah. And also in the video, he was saying, oh, I've seen this, these types of situations on video before, but, I've never been a part of anything like this. And, that can be interpreted a few ways. One way it could be is just like, hey, I've always seen stuff like this. I just never thought it would happen to me. Or either, oh, I never thought something like this would happen to me because of, my status. Perhaps that's a reach. Maybe I'm being a little critical. But when it comes to black celebrities and their encounters with racism and them being vocal about their own encounters with racism while not having a record of being vocal about other situations involving racism, I'm weary. I feel like they're just coming around because they need support. After that, then it's like river crossed, saint forgotten. Rio cruzado, santo olvidado. And basically that's just a saying from Spanish, just saying. Basically when people get through their problems, oftentimes they end up forgetting about the people who helped them get through their problems. Also in the video, he had mentioned that she or like the homeowners association or something was saying he got liens on his house and ish. And then Karen said that he said that Karen said that he lives in a low budget neighborhood, even though they both live in the same neighborhood. Maybe she's thinking that he should live in a more upscale neighborhood because he's a celebrity. I don't know the market value of the homes in the neighborhood that he's in, so I can't say for sure. But also, if he has liens on his home, if that's really true, then maybe he doesn't have as much money as you may think he does. And what's with these celebrities, like these athletes, these black male athletes who retire? What's with them being in like financially strained situations? Where the money be going? That's what I want to know. Like, where the money be going? But something else I need to bring up here is that Terrell Owens has a long history of dating white women, right? A long dating history of white women, right? And that's his business. He has a right to have his preference. But I bring this up because I wonder if this situation will stop him from dating white women in the future. By the way, Terrell Owens is 48 years old. Aging well. All right, we can give him that. I didn't think he was that old, so kudos to him for that. But he's about 48 years old. So what do you think? You think he'll stop dating white women after this situation? And come back home to the sister. Mm-hmm. But to the sisters, would you want him if he came back home? I mean, it sounded like, from what I heard, Becky, aka Karen, was saying he got liens on his house. So I'm not sure if he's really coming back. If he were to come back, I'm not sure if he would be coming back to you with, something to give you other than a problem and an STD. But, I don't think this is going to stop Terrell from dating white women. And again, part of the reason I brought up his age was because he's about 48 years old. And usually once people get to a certain age, low key, they kind of get set in their ways. Not all the time, but many times, right? So I just bring that up. He's about almost 50 years old. So he might just be set in his ways and want to continue to date Rebecca. And that's okay. He can have his preference. That's all right. The sisters will go on and thrive. But one thing I do want to bring up before I go into the next thing or the next part of this is, do you think, okay, Terrell Owens, like if the situation involved a black woman doing all the things that Karen did in the video, doing all this, do you think that Terrell Owens would have behaved differently? Do you think that he would have been more short with her, more aggressive with her, disrespectful of her, calling her out of her name, perhaps? I just bring that up because sometimes when it comes to situations like this, black folks, they got all the smoke for other black folks, but when it's non-black people, a lot of times that smoke don't be so potent. And everyone feels like, they have real potent smoke for black women for some reason. But that's another story for another video. The next thing I want to talk about is Kang Kong syndrome. And I feel like Terrell Owens probably is a black man who may suffer from Kang Kong syndrome. Because I don't think that he's going to end up not dating black women anymore from this situation. And thus, basically just proving that he does suffer from Kang Kong syndrome. And for those of you who don't know what Kang Kong syndrome is, basically it's just, the movie King Kong, right? Basically, how King Kong was obsessed with Jane, the white woman in the movie. And because of his obsession with her, he wound up getting trapped, right? And brought to America, to New York. And then when he was able to escape from, the shackles and cage that he was in when he was in New York, he was still obsessed with Jane and was still going after her. And, ultimately that led to his downfall and his demise. Because if he had just escaped and left without being concentrated on Jane, he would have probably survived. And basically, when I say King Kong syndrome, it's just referring to black men who go through so much to be with white women and other non-black women too, but especially white women. Dealing with their racist families, especially their fathers, dealing with public harassment from white folks, especially white men, from being in interracial relationships. Some black women probably thrown in there too. But white men, are more likely to get violent with it. Black women that just say some slick stuff to you and keep it pushing at best. As well as dealing with his own community not approving of the relationship and his own family perhaps not approving of this relationship, maybe. And a quick disclaimer, when I say King Kong syndrome, I'm referring to a mentality, okay? A mentality, not a look, just in case, all right, not a look. But, the phrase may feel extra shady to some black man. But if it don't apply, let it fly. Also, when black men who date interracially are in situations like this, they do run back to the community. Right? And the community, it includes black women, not just black men. All right. And they run back to the community to help them, or just for the community to be empathetic. And, is Terrell directly asking for support from the community? No, he's not. But he did post this video for a reason. He didn't just post this video just to post the video. And when it comes to other black men, they probably will support or just stay quiet about it. Some black women will support too, right? And they'll be all like, oh, it doesn't matter if he's in an interracial relationship. We got to defend the black community, right? Because it's an attack on the black community. When black men get caught up in situations like this, it's an attack on all of us. We all black. They consider us all N-words. So do. Black power, y'all. But I don't hear none of this battle cry when a black woman is in a situation like this, especially if she is a swirler. If she is a swirler in a situation, she is on her own. All the way on her own. And even when black women are not in interracial relationships and are black men only, it's still difficult for black women to get support. And let's be real, people weren't really trying to support Breonna Taylor at first until the situation with Ahmaud Arbery and George Floyd happened, and then they can add Breonna to this situation as well to help garner black women's support, right? And thus appear to be in support of black women caught up in situations like, say, the situation with Breonna Taylor, which, by the way, happened to her because of a black man, by the way, which I don't think people have actually put that together on record in public, but she ended up losing her life and meeting her demise because of the black man that she had previously dated. It wasn't because of her own behavior. At least not directly. I mean, you can make the argument that she shouldn't have been dating a black man who was, dealing drugs, which is definitely an argument. But that black man should not have been dealing drugs as well. Like, so both of them were wrong. She shouldn't have been dating him and if he was dealing drugs, and he should not have been dealing drugs. But when some black women, say enough is enough and put their foot down, black men and some black women shame those black women for not wanting to support, a situation like Terrell Owens or George Floyd. As if, these men or even the community has like a great, wonderful track record of supporting black women who date IR or just black women, period. It does not. And then they'll come through with the shaming. Oh, you're so jealous. You petty. You mad because nobody wants you. You can't get a date. All this, you ain't gonna support a black man getting oppressed and shot and killed because, oh, you jealous because, oh, he wasn't dating someone that looked exactly like you. You know what's gonna happen. You know how it's gonna go. But the thing is, though, when all this is happening, I never hear, or rarely hear black men or black women shaming Rebecca, Selena, or Kim Woo for not coming through and for not being vocal with their support of black men in situations like this, especially, or at least in particular, the, non-black women who date black men, right? And some black women on occasions, like a few black women on occasions will kind of bring that up. And then some, white woman will respond and say, hey, just because I'm dating a black man don't mean that I need to support every single black victim of police brutality or black social justice cause. And that's the end of that. No one's really going on a crusade to shame Rebecca or other non-black women for not supporting black men who they date. And some of these women, are married to black men and even have children with black men, but still they're not going to be jumping up, hooping and hollering on behalf of black men. Their advocacy for black men only goes as far as the black men that they're with. If that, really, if that. But for the people who are shaming black women for not supporting, go put those requirements and expectations on non-black women who date black men, not black women. Not when the black man who's caught up in the situation has a long history of dating non-black women, especially white women. Go tell Rebecca, Selena, and Kim Woo to come through for the brothers and whoop-de-whoop. But the thing is, they know that they know better than to even waste their breath asking for that advocacy from them, because they know that they're not going to get it. And if they do ask for the advocacy and, publicly and do not get it, then it's like, well, a question that'll come up would be, why are you dating them? And then it'd be, you shouldn't be dating them if they're not going to be concerned about you. And black men don't want to stop having access to those non-black women. They don't want to stop dating those non-black women. So they're just going to ignore the lack of advocacy from the non-black women who date black men and just keep it pushing and just concentrate on black women and their lack of advocacy, because they feel entitled to black women's advocacy because they're black and black women are black. And it's like that. A question I do want to ask, though, is, does Terrell Owens even have a record of supporting black social justice causes? Because, a lot of these celebrities be coming through trying to ride the pro-black wave when convenient, when they can benefit from it, and then jump off when it no longer benefits them, right? I don't know. I'm not really familiar with Terrell Owens like that, so I don't know. He could be. So, I'm asking the question. And if you know the answer to the question, feel free to let me know in the comments section. Thanks in advance. But, does he have a track record, a record of supporting black social justice causes, speaking out against police brutality? What did he think about, the Colin Kaepernick police protests in the NFL? Terrell Owens, of course, used to play in the NFL. So what did he think about that? Was he on board with it? Was he supportive of it? Did he speak out against it? What was his thoughts about that? But of course, people aren't going to hold Terrell Owens to that standard, right? Because when a black man is negatively affected by a situation like the situation that Terrell Owens is in, it doesn't matter. It don't matter, right? If the regular black man can relate to Terrell Owens in some way, then it don't matter, right? But perhaps, maybe, just maybe, this situation happened, right? Because Karen has a crush on Terrell. You know how in elementary school and sometimes even in high school, authority figures um, tell girls who are harassed by boys that the boys who are harassing them like them, right? Thus normalizing toxic behavior in relationships, right? And I know this happens outside of school too. But you know that situation, right? So, how about we do that in this situation, at least for a moment, right? So, hey, Terrell, you just need to calm down and relax. All right, just chill out. It's not that serious. Karen, she just likes you. You know, Karen want to try the BBC. Karen knows that black men are the most desired man in the known universe. More like the most wanted man in the known universe. But how about we try that and see how that goes, right? But black men and the black male identified women, the black male identified black women are gonna be hooping and hollering against all that. Nuh-uh, you don't do that to no black guy like that, girl. This serious business right here. Black men done got accosted by Karen. Shoot, don't y'all know it's a whole history of this happening in the United States for hundreds and hundreds of years, girl. Girl, I know my black history. And I loves my black king. So that's why I'm speaking out against all this right here. Y'all ain't gonna get my king caught up in this stuff. I'm too woke for that. Y'all can't put a wool over my eye. I'm a woke black queen over here. There's a woke black queen who loves her black king, who supports her black kings, who advocates on the front lines for her black kings. This serious right here. Don't make light of it. Don't make light about what our kings be going through on a day-to-day basis. So what? So what? He got his right to date who he want. He can date Rebecca's if he want to. Date Becky's. He can date Selena's and Kim Woo's be coming through. So what? So it don't change nothing. We still, I still advocate for my kings. Unconditional love and loyalty for the king, girl. For the kings, girl. And then you're going to have black men coming through too, whining and crying, talking about, oh, see, y'all always trying to bring a brother down. Y'all trying to hold a brother down. Y'all always want to be colluding with the system. Y'all never want to support a brother when he trying to do something. When a brother in trouble, when a brother got caught up, y'all ain't never want to support nothing. And then y'all wonder why we be going over to the non-black women. Y'all wonder why we be going over to Rebecca and Kim Woo and Selena too. You wonder, huh? But see, black men got options though, so we can do that. We ain't gotta deal with you black women. We ain't gotta deal with that. Hell nah. You ain't heard that the black man is the most desired man in the universe, sister. Us black men got options. We be going over to Brazil. We be going over to the Philippines and everywhere else where there ain't no black women to get dates and to find wives. So if you want a black brother, sister, you better start competing. You better get up in that gym. You better lose that attitude and that weed and fix your type 2 diabetes. But I think I've said all I have to say for the time being. So let me know what you think about all of this in the comments section below. Until the next video, adios and goodbye for now.